Today, in the 4th season, we really want to show you how stories are still being created. For example, the persistence and endurance of young Liwei, China's first taikonaut. But we also travel with an ordinary Chinese family as they experience the joy of a first trip across China on the high-speed railway. A vision that would have kept the thousands of visionary engineers and workmen focused during the construction phase of this major infrastructure project. Of course, we've also not forgotten the world of myth and ancient wisdom. We have one of the world's oldest love stories, Herd Boy and Weaving Maid, as well as the story of the mythical inventor of writing. Another of our stories also takes you to the moment when Liwei had one of his moments of inspiration, while another of our stories takes us back again to one of China's earliest poets, Xiamen. Enjoy the stories and enjoy learning to tell them in English. 在第4季中，我们会向大家展示许多传奇故事，比如中国航天第一人杨利伟的故事，去感受他的坚毅和耐力。同时，我们还会跟一个普通的中国家庭一起旅行，享受第一次乘坐高铁的欢乐，并且讲述为实现这一愿景，科学家和工程师们付出的努力。当然，也少不了神话传说与古老智慧。首先是世界上最古老的爱情故事——牛郎织女的故事。也有关于神秘的文字发明者的故事。此外，我们还将带你们领略礼拜灵感迸发的时刻，以及认识中国最早的诗人之一屈原。好好享受这些故事吧，并且享受学习用英语讲这些故事吧。杨利伟实现了很多孩子的梦想，成为宇航员，遨游太空。那么，成为宇航员也有梦想的另一层含义。当我们幻想时，我们的身体反复能够自由飞翔，不受约束，随心所欲。事实上，在英语中，我们在讨论梦想的时候，经常用跟太空有关的词汇，比如 reaching for the stars， 伸手摘星。飞向太空也代表着去到一个陌生的地区的勇气，这其实是野心的象征。无论你想成为出色的艺术家、企业家还是作家，都需要你有突破舒适区、敢想敢干的勇气。然而，这个故事告诉我们，成为一个宇航员，就像生活中的任何目标一样，是不能过分盲目的。梦想的背后是长年累月的刻苦学习和准备。对于宇航员来说，工作的艰苦既存在于身体层面，也存在于精神层面。宇航员需要掌握丰富的天体物理学和工程学知识。除此之外，他们还需要拥有绝对顶尖的身体素质。同样的道理存在于你生活中的任何尝试。如果你想取得成就，你就要有勇气去实现，但勇气绝不等于鲁莽。这二者区别在于你付出了多少准备和努力。当然，再多的准备也不代表完全没有风险。当杨利伟进入太空的时候，他也做好了可能不会平安归来的心理准备，所以他确实需要极大勇气。然而，如果他的身体状况不佳，对航天技术缺乏了解的情况下执行任务，他成就的几率也会小得多。这给我们所有人带来其实是要勇于冒险，但是要充分准备。好的，那么我们关于杨利伟的那个故事的英文版本，我们现在就进行一个朗诵。我会从头 到底把它朗诵一下。好，我们就开始吧。Yang Liwei's Outer Space Dream. Mention Yang Liwei, and everyone will recognize the name, for he is a first-class aviator known as China's first man in space. Behind his success lay unrelenting endeavors and struggles. Late at night, a lone lamp shone in the astronaut's bedroom. The man studying hard by its light was Yang Liwei. To become an astronaut, it was necessary to undergo a number of stiff tests and selection processes. It was not only necessary to have a superbly tough physique, it was also necessary to have a thorough grasp of the practical knowledge related to space flight. In order to satisfy the requirements of an astronaut, Yang Liwei strove with all his might every minute and every second of every day to master this knowledge. As the night deepened, Yang Liwei gradually became aware that he was growing tired. His eyes were becoming dry and rough, making the words he was reading blurred, but he still had 10 pages of the textbook to study and didn't even think of taking a rest or leaving that day's assigned task till the following day. Instead, he simply took a swig of strong tea from his enamel mug. It was the custom of Yang Liwei and his fellow would-be astronauts to brew such strong tea and keep it in enamel cups. Their duties were onerous indeed, and they often studied and debated problems deep into the night. In order to preserve their energy and keep themselves ready for the following day's tasks and studies, each of them would brew a thick mash of tea leaves in a big mug and take sips throughout the day. This strong tea was somewhat bitter, but they regarded it as a magic weapon for invigorating themselves. There was far more to the astronauts' tests than simply written ones. They had to be trained by means of an accelerator to withstand the pressure on their hearts of supersonic flight, of low pressure and of lack of oxygen, and to function normally in space. These specialized techniques tested their bodies to the limit. Once undergoing a high-speed accelerator test, Yang Liwei felt as if all the blood in his body was rushing into his brain, and as if 1,000 or more fish were swimming round in his body. He felt giddy and was unsteady on his feet. After a long period of low-pressure training, he felt as though his body had expanded and as if his internal organs were about to burst. For a while, it seemed as though his lungs could not take in air and that he was about to die from lack of oxygen. The training course contained hardships unimaginable to an outsider, and many people dropped out, but not Yang Liwei. He passed the tests with flying colours. The course lasted 5.5 years, with 3,000 hours of study in all. Every night he slept for less than 7 hours. From beginning to end, a high degree of concentrated training was required. Finally, the man who had shown the best results and consistently outstanding qualities would shoulder the task of piloting the Shenzhou 5 space shuttle on China's first manned spaceflight. There are thousands of pilots like Yang Liwei in the ranks of China's air and space forces. They fear neither physical nor mental challenges and hardships. They strive consistently in the front line of China's air and space endeavors. Over the past few decades, China has made great achievements in air and space travel, and this is a monument to the dedication and hard work of men like Yang Liwei. The moral of this story: forging ahead, fearless of hardships, is the fine spirit of generation after generation of China's aviators. Through dogged hard work, they have advanced China's space program to the forefront of the world. Okay, now it's time to do some recitation practice, as we always do at this part of the class. Let's take a look in this section at how to use our voices to reflect the tiredness and lethargy which Yang feels as he's trying to study. First of all, listen to me read the passage and see if you can hear which words I'm going to pick out and emphasize, and try to think why I do so. 好的，现在我们做一些朗诵上的练习吧。 我们来看一看这一部分，我们如何用声音体现杨利伟在努力学习时感受到的疲劳。首先，大家听我读一下这个段落，来看看你能否听得出来我会选择哪些词汇强调，并且想一想我为什么会这样强调。As the night deepened, Yang Liwei gradually became aware that he was growing tired. His eyes were becoming dry and rough, making the words he was reading blurred. But he still had 10 pages of the textbook to study and didn't even think of taking a rest or leaving that day's assigned task till the following day. Instead, he simply took a swig of strong tea from his enamel mug. Well, in that first sentence, I emphasized deepened and tired. That is mostly to help set the scene. With the word deepened, I'm getting across both the time of the day, whilst also getting across how painfully late it is. Let's listen to that sentence again. 在第一句话，我强调了 deepened 和 tired， 这主要是为了帮助设立规定情景。随着我强调这些词，我能表达出夜色有多深，以及时间多么晚。As the night deepened, Yang Liwei gradually became aware that he was growing tired. Now, in the first part of the second sentence, we need to emphasize adjectives like dry and rough. Those adjectives really convey the physical feeling of tiredness in the mouth. There should be a slight note of disgust in the voice as we say them. His eyes were becoming dry and rough. 那么，在第二句话，我刚才又读了那句话的第一部分，我们需要强调的是像 dry 和 rough 这种形容词。这些形容词真正反映了身体上的那种疲劳感。在我们说这些话的时候，声音应该有一些不愉快的感觉。我们再来听一听。His eyes were becoming dry and rough. In the rest of the passage, I emphasize the word blurred. Again, this conveys the subjective feeling of tiredness very well. I also emphasize the word think. The reason for emphasizing that is to convey Yang's determination. So we need to make sure we emphasize that word in a different way. Okay, let's listen to the whole passage again. 在这一段声语的部分，我们强调了单词 blurred， 再次说明这个方式表达疲劳，这种主观的感觉特别好。我也强调了单词 think， 强调这个原因是我们要强调杨利伟的决心，所以我需要确保在此时用另一种方式来强调单词。好的，我们现在再来听一听这个段落。As the night deepened, Yang Liwei gradually became aware that he was growing tired. His eyes were becoming dry and rough, making the words he was reading blurred. But he still had 10 pages of the textbook to study and didn't even think of taking a rest or leaving that day's assigned task till the following day. Instead, he simply took a swig of strong tea from his enamel mug. 好的，那么我们今天的课就到这里了。I'll see you next time. Bye for now.